Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Birmingham, Alabama, it's time for Birmingham Business Radio. Now, here are your Business Radio X hosts.
Welcome to Birmingham Business Radio. Stone Payton Lee Cantor here with you this afternoon. Lee, this is going to be a fantastic segment. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast Senior Advisor with the Welch Group, LLC, Miss Beth Moody. How are you?
I am doing great. It's beautiful over here in Birmingham, and it's a great day.
Well, Beth, before we get too far into things, tell us about the Welch Group. How are you serving folks?
Yeah, so the Welch Group, in a nutshell, we provide financial planning and investment management services. So the investment management piece is a little easier to explain to people. Essentially, we put together portfolios in-house, and we work with families to invest, personal brokerage accounts, IRAs, and implement that for them. And then the financial planning piece is maybe a part that other people don't really know that much about.
Well, then what's that? How does the financial planning work?
Yeah, so in addition to all the, financial, the investment management pieces, there's a lot of, like I said, non-investment financial planning pieces. And just a couple examples there are really looking for the best way to save for college, looking at health insurance options, everything from, individual plans to Medicare, which is a whole world of its own. And then we also work with CPAs or accountants to implement tax-saving strategies for people. We're looking to make sure documents are in order for their wills and powers of attorney and those kind of things. Really anything that could affect somebody's finances, we're taking a look at.
Now, when you work with your client, it sounds like you're kind of the quarterback or the CFO of their kind of family finances. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. I've heard both of those terms used to describe us. We've called ourselves kind of a limited family office. So we will help make sure all the pieces get put together. So a lot of times what we'll see is really well-drafted, well-thought-out plans for people, but they're not always carried forward or implemented. So we really work hard with our clients and with their other professionals, such as accountants and attorneys, to just make sure everything gets from A to Z and gets checked off and completed.
So now walk me through the process. Like say I bring my family in to see you. I have a wife. I have a kid that's 21 years old. He's in college. Would we all come in and sit in your office and then you would kind of ask us questions about our lives, what our goals are? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so particular, specific to our office, we will have a meeting, usually 2 meetings on the front end before anybody decides if they want to work with us or not. But what we do is we sit down, learn about your goals, where you are now, where you want to be, what kind of background you have, and kind of ask some preliminary questions. A lot of that is, filling out a bank quality financial statement for somebody. Typically a second meeting is where we go back to the drawing board, put together the numbers, and we'll come back in and have a cash flow or retirement analysis to show somebody. So we find that that's probably the biggest driver of the first cut of investment recommendations. We want to see where somebody is. We want to look at what we'd recommend their savings to be to get them to their goal. And then from there, it's I know, like you said, a kid with 21 years old. So we're asking about kind of what the plans are there. We'd also like to know if they're taken care of. Something were to happen to you. So we don't sell any products. We don't do life insurance, but we often recommend that clients get it. We want to make sure that they've got the right kind. So it's very much a unique process for each client. There's no one-size-fits-all. So you're absolutely right. On the front end, it's just getting to know you, your goals, your family, and seeing how we can help from there.
So now, do most of the people coming from you, do they already have an existing financial planner or an advisor, and they're moving to you because they're frustrated in some some fashion, or is this somebody, or is your client typically somebody who's brand new and has never done this, or maybe they did it themselves?
It's really a range. We do have several clients that were already working with somebody, and maybe it was just, where it was just an investment management relationship. So they're really looking for somebody to come in and help manage all the aspects of their wealth, not just the investment piece. And then sometimes it's new wealth. So unfortunately for the client, we meet a lot of new people after the loss of a loved one. And so, the stereotypical case is a widow comes in and her husband has done all the finances for their whole married life. And really she just wants somebody to help guide her through the process. And so that's the way we're involved a lot. And then sometimes it's maybe somebody's retiring from a job where they've got a 401k or a pension, and it's at that time that they come and meet us. So it's really a pretty wide range of who we work with.
Now, how did you get involved in financial advisory work? Was that as a kid you were the one that saved all your money? And
So I've always kind of had that tendency to look around and figure out how to save money and that kind of thing. But really it all started when I was a lot younger. I've always loved working with people and helping out. I used to I thought I wanted to be a math teacher for a while, so I like the numbers and I like working with people. And then in college, I didn't know about the career of financial planning, so I took a finance class that was required for my business degree. I found out they showed the illustration of if you save early, at 25 years old versus waiting until you're 50. And I remember that was so powerful to me. I thought I was probably the biggest nerd in the class and thought everybody's got to know about this. So I kind of then found out about the profession, and that was a long time ago, but the rest is history. And that's kind of how I got interested. I love working with people. I love crunching numbers, and there's not a lot of places where you can do both. Yeah,
once you learn about compounding, you can't unlearn that, right? Once you understand that power.
You can't.
So now, is that, do you spend a lot of your time just educating people about the stuff they don't know?
Yeah, I would say a lot of our clients are super, they're very smart people, and they've been successful, whether it's in their business or school. But a lot of times you just don't know what you don't know. And sometimes the terms that are used in finance or other, investments can just be foreign to people. And so a lot of times what we try to do here is, talk to people in ways that they understand it. We want them to understand everything we're doing in their investment accounts so that, and the planning, so that when they leave here, they can really understand what's going on and they know everything about their plan, and they don't walk out of our office and think, okay, what did Beth just tell me? I didn't understand any of that. So education is a huge piece of what we do.
Now, you mentioned that, sometimes you advise your clients that, they may need a certain type of insurance that maybe they don't have, and then you're not financially, I guess, compensated for that. You're just making the referral because it's good for them. What is the way that you're compensated? Do you make commissions, or are you fee only? Like, what is your practice?
That's a great question. So we are fee only. Our founder, Stuart Welch, was really one of the pioneers in setting up a firm that's just fee only. So our compensation only comes from our clients. We don't get any extra, revenue by recommending a product or even doing a trade. So when we're working with clients, if we recommend, hey, we think you need this life insurance, or we think you need to go pay an attorney to update your will, it's truly because we think it's in the best interest of the client. We don't get any compensation, and in fact, it's more work for us to do that. But that's how we're set up, and we're actually fiduciaries. So our firm is set up as a registered investment advisor, and that means we're legal fiduciaries to our clients. So we have to put their best interests first. An example of that, as you were asking about compensation and the way we get paid, but we oftentimes will recommend that somebody goes and pays off a mortgage or gives to charity or a 529 plan because that's in their best interest. And in those cases, we actually lose some revenue by doing that. But again, we want to do what's best for the client. So that's kind of a simple example, but it's something that I've seen play out multiple times.
Now, how does it work? Like if you have to do a trade and there's a commission for doing the trade, do you get to keep the commission, or does that get shared or given back to the client?
So we don't get any commissions by doing trades. There is a fee charged for our main relationship is with Charles Schwab, but we could, go use anybody. Again, we're not tied to them by any kind of fee arrangement. We just think they do a really great job. And our clients, if we buy or sell a stock position in their account, for example, it costs $4.95, whether we buy one share or 10,000 shares. And that's actually a cost that Schwab gets. So that's kind of their compensation for being the one to hold the account and actually, on the back end, the technical side, actually do that trade. So that we don't get that, but the client pays it to Schwab.
Now, in your practice, do you have kind of a niche that you serve? Like, do you do small business owners primarily, or you do people that are, maybe in big corporations and they have 401ks? Like, do you have a specialty?
So the division that I work in within the Welch Group really just deals with high net worth families. Many people are already retired or getting close to there, but they are really, I would say, again, a range. A lot of them were prior business owners, but were retired now, or executives at corporations, and they're really, I would say, they're delegators looking for people that, they want to do what they want to do. So they are busy wanting to be in their company, or they're wanting to be with grandchildren, or something like that. So they're, asking us to come in and help manage those pieces. As far as we work with several doctor families, so the husband or wife is a doctor, and we have a lot of experience with those types of professionals. But really, we love to work with everybody. I think that's one thing that makes our job so fun is we get to see a little bit of everything when we help people.
Now, with some of your work, when you are helping them, are you kind of talking about like legacy? Like, hey, it's one thing I want to save for retirement, I want to make sure everybody's taken care of, but isn't a portion of kind of you living a life is kind of leaving a legacy and working on some way to kind of share the wealth?
Yes, that is a big part of what we talk about when we go through an estate planning review with somebody. So our number one priority for any client is to make sure that they have enough assets for their entire lifetime. Well, they'll never run out of money and always be able to live their same lifestyle. The second piece of that is what comes next. Is it, maximizing inheritance for children or grandchildren, or are they charitably inclined and seeing the best way to put those pieces together? And then what's really fun for us is we're actually a lot of times involved with the next generation or even 3 generations of families. So we are able to see and help the younger people get their financial lives in order and be successful and be prepared for some kind of inheritance. Because, like I said, we work with high net worth families, so many times an inheritance that someone receives could be pretty sizable, and going ahead and giving them some education now before they receive that can be very beneficial. Make sure all the values are aligned that our parents they have certain values and want to pass them down to the next generation. So that's been fun. And then also working on a charitable plan. So whether it's, just giving, a certain portion to a specific church, or if they have many charitable interests, we can help them set up a donor advised fund that their children can manage, and again, just pass along that attitude of stewardship and really helping in the future. That's a huge part of what we talk to people about.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Birmingham Business Radio. Today we are visiting with Senior Advisor with the Welch Group, LLC, Beth Moody. Beth, Stone Payton here. I've been listening in on your conversation with Lee, and I'll let you know a little while ago he was fishing. He was hoping that maybe you specialize in old men with broken dreams.
Okay, I'll write that down.
So maybe it could be an additional book of business for you. I have 1,000 questions, and we could run a half-day show on this, but a couple of things did come to mind for me, and it's kind of around this idea of time and timing. My wife and my wife has a real job and has for some years, makes a pretty comfortable living by our standards, by my standards. Much of it is like in her 401. 401k, is that what you call it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I can't touch it. I can tell you that. It's like off to the side somewhere. But she keeps telling me we're like 18 months away from, she's hanging up her cleats. And I've got 2 daughters. One's almost off the payroll. One's still a little bit on the payroll. But it occurs to me that maybe it's time or you tell me, am I early? Am I late in sitting down with someone and saying, hey, we got some pretty big life changes coming up. We ought to start thinking this through a little bit. So I wanted to ask a little bit about timing, and then kind of connected to that, how much time a layperson ought to spend thinking about this stuff?
I think that's a great question. So to answer the first part of that, I think it's never too early to go meet with somebody and develop a rough plan, even if it's kind of just a first draft. But the second part of that is it's also never too late. So I would say our ideal person is somebody early on in their career that we can kind of help drive decisions on savings recommendations and, cash flow and things like that. But also we see a lot of people that are, 1 to 2 years out from retirement, and a lot can be done just in 1 or 2 years. So I think now is a perfect time for you guys to talk to somebody and just really get a game plan, even if you don't take any action now, but just kind of know what's coming and look how to even project the retirement landscape, because people are living a lot longer now, and I think it's very wise to go ahead and do that. And as far as how much time a layperson should commit, that's really dependent on the person. So if you're somebody who really loves researching investments and all that, then, you could spend, I don't know, a couple of hours every 6 months and do it and, kind of reset your plan. If you are somebody who this is really not in your wheelhouse and it's really outside of what you want to spend your time doing, then typically an annual meeting with a financial planner would be sufficient, maybe some check-ins through the year. But coming in, I do think it's important to meet periodically because things change, goals change, tax laws change. So just making sure that you don't set it and forget it, but have periodic check-ins, I think is advisable for people.
Good stuff, Beth. Now, for you, what is the most rewarding part of your job? What do you enjoy the most?
Okay, well, I know this is going to sound corny, but I really love it when I feel like I've truly helped somebody. So it's really easy in my job or any job to just put your head down and work really hard on a project, but it's actually seeing the fruits of the work and knowing that it helped somebody in a positive way. And that's really the best part of my day, in addition to working with the great people here at the Welch Group. We truly have the best team in the country over here. But just, an example of that, again, I kind of talked a little bit earlier about working with some widows, and one of the best things, I hate the circumstances, but, it could just be the simple act of having all their documentation pulled together and getting them started of, hey, here's where you pay bills and here's how we do this, just helping them get a plan. It's amazing the look of relief that I can see in somebody's eyes when we just do some very simple things that, they just hesitate to do. So helping people and being here for somebody to call without hesitation as a sounding board or a cheerleader, that's probably the best part of my day.
Good stuff, Beth Moody. Thank you so much for sharing your story today. If somebody wanted to learn
Thanks for having me.
If somebody wanted to learn more about the Welch Group or get a hold of you, what's the best way? Do you guys have a website?
Yeah, so our website is welchgroup.com. It's www.welchgroup.com.
And then they can find you there on the website somewhere?
I'm on the website, on the team page, or if somebody wanted to call our office, if they're not website friendly, then our number here in Birmingham is 205-879-5001.
All right, Beth. Thank you again for sharing your story.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. This is Lee Cantor for Stone Payton. We will see you next time on Birmingham Business Radio.